A billionaire CEO offered $1 million to spend the night with a poor masseur. He told her no. And when she tried to change his mind, he embarrassed her in a way no man ever had. Her name was Ava Coleman, CEO of Stratos Health. She'd negotiated pharmaceutical deals with presidents, signed billion-dollar contracts in boardrooms where no one else had the guts to speak. She once bought out her own investors during a dinner. But today, all she wanted was to vanish. "Drive," she told her assistant, tossing her clutch into the car. "Somewhere quiet. If I sit through one more pitch, I'm throwing someone out a window." The assistant blinked. "There's a wellness spa 20 minutes out. No press, no glam, locals only." Ava didn't ask questions. She just said, "Go." They pulled up to a strip mall outside Albany, a nail salon, a bakery, and in between, a single wooden door with faded gold letters, Pine Ridge Therapeutics. No valet, no app booking, no logo. Perfect. Inside smelled like eucalyptus and soap. No music, no chatter. A woman behind a plastic desk looked up. "Full session?" "Deep tissue. Best person you've got, and I don't want to talk." The woman tapped a clipboard. "That'll be Eli, room 3, down the hall." She walked in. No frills, just clean towels and dim light. She didn't even take off her jewelry, just kicked off her heels, dropped her phone face down, and lay on the table. A few minutes later, the door opened. "Afternoon. I'm Eli," he said calmly. "Let me know if the pressure needs adjusting." She said nothing, just waved a lazy hand. He began. At first, nothing felt different. Hands, pressure, the usual. But then he hit a nerve in her shoulder she didn't know existed. And again, he didn't speak. He wasn't trying to charm her or flatter her or even pretend he recognized her. "Do you always work this quiet?" she muttered. "It depends who I'm working on." She cracked one eye open. "You don't know who I am?" "No." "That's cute." He didn't answer. 45 minutes later, she was standing at the front desk, shoes in hand, hair a mess, eyes still sharp. She pulled out a white envelope. "Give this to him," she told the receptionist. Discreetly. The woman looked inside. "This is $10,000. "I tip well." The receptionist disappeared into the hallway, returned a few moments later. He said no. "Excuse me?" "He doesn't accept tips over 100. She laughed. "Tell him this isn't a tip, it's a thank you." I did. He still said no. She stood there for a moment. "You're quiet, detached. You don't flirt, and you work with your hands all day without getting distracted." Still no reaction. The silence said more than a yes ever could. At the front desk, she left without another word. But she didn't drive home. She went to a downtown hotel, ordered 2 glasses of wine, didn't drink either, and stared at the rain. The next day, she came back again, and the day after that. Same request, same therapist. Elo didn't say much. He worked. She talked. Not about work, not about money. About nothing and everything. "Where'd you learn pressure point therapy?" "My mom taught me." "Is she a massage therapist too?" "Not anymore." She started looking forward to his sessions. She hated that. It wasn't the massages. It wasn't the silence. It was him. The calm, the steadiness, the fact that he didn't care who she was. On day 6, she finally asked, "Do you believe in chemistry?" He paused for the first time mid-session. Then, "I believe in tining." "What does that mean?" He didn't answer. At the front desk, she handed the receptionist another envelope. This time, it wasn't cash. It was a folded note. Dinner, 8 p.m., corner of 7th and Maple. Private booth reserved. Just say your name. Ava. He didn't show. She waited 2 hours, ordered 1 drink, drank none of it, drove home, didn't cry, didn't call, but she didn't sleep either. The next morning, she walked in without an appointment. The receptionist glanced up, startled. "Ms. Coleman, we didn't have you scheduled." "Room 3, she said flatly. Eli was inside, prepping towels. He looked up. "You really don't give up, do you?" She dropped the new envelope on the table between them. "This time, it's not for a night." He looked down, then looked at her. "How much?" "5 million. He didn't move, didn't touch it. "You think throwing more money at me is going to change something?" "No," she said, "but I think you want to say yes." That got him, just a flicker, in the corner of his mouth. She stepped closer. "This isn't about the money anymore. You're scared." He raised an eyebrow. "Of what?" "That if you say yes, it won't just be one night." For the first time since they met, he stepped back. Just slightly. But it was enough. "You don't know me," he said. "Then let me." He grabbed the envelope, walked to the front desk, and dropped it on the counter. "Return this to her. Every cent." Then he turned back, eyes steady. "Ava," he said, quiet but firm, "I'm not scared of you." "Then what are you scared of?" He paused. "Of liking you." It started with an Instagram story. Just 6 seconds long. Ava storming out of room 3, eyes blazing, envelope in hand. The caption? "When the masseur says no to the millionaire's offer." Within an hour, it was on TikTok. By noon, Twitter, and by 4 p.m., she was a trending hashtag. Hashtag $1,000,000no. Her assistant called first. "Don't freak out, but, you're kind of everywhere." Then her PR director. Then a board member. Then her ex-fiancé. Ava threw her phone across the couch, pressed both palms into her eyes, and whispered, "This can't be happening." But it was. And the comments were ruthless. She offered how much? LMAO. He said no. King behavior. No one's ever rejected her before. Oof. Girl, go buy some self-respect with that money. She didn't cry. Not yet. She did what she always did. She got to work. "Find out everything about him," she told her assistant. "Name, background, family, education, debts. I want to know what brand of cereal he eats." 2 hours later, a folder landed on her desk. Thin. Too thin. "His name's Elijah Martinez," her assistant said. 32. No socials. No LinkedIn. No digital footprint at all. "Which means," Ava snapped, "which means he's either extremely private or hiding something." That night, she drove back to the spa. He wasn't there. She asked the front desk where he went. The woman smiled nervously. "He's on leave." "For how long?" "He didn't say." Ava stood there, in silence. The girl behind the counter looked like she wanted to say something. She did. "You know, some people think he used to be someone else." Ava frowned. "What does that mean?" "Like, important, before he worked here." That night, Ava didn't sleep. Again. But this time, not because of shame, because of curiosity. Because the man who had humiliated her might have a secret, and the world loved secrets. 2 days later, a tip came from her security team. "Got something," they said. An old photo. Grainy, cropped. Eli in a suit, standing beside an older man outside a conference center. Caption, World Economic Forum, 2019. She zoomed in. The man beside him? Gabriel Martinez, founder of Martinez Group International. Estimated net worth? $19 billion. She dropped the photo. No, it couldn't be. She stared at it again. Same jawline, same calm eyes, same posture. Eli wasn't a nobody. He was his son. She called the spa again. He's not working anymore, the receptionist said. He left for good. Where'd he go? I don't know. That evening, a letter arrived at her penthouse. No return address. Inside was a single note, handwritten, "Now you know. ... E." The next morning, she had a crisis meeting. A foreign investor deal was unraveling. Her usual interpreter had bailed. The deal was worth $20 million, and Ava knew only one person who could understand Mandarin, read cultural nuance, and keep their mouth shut. She picked up her phone, texted the only number she had for him. "I need you. Business, not personal. 2 p.m., Midtown Hilton. Don't make me beg." She didn't think he'd show, but at 1:57 p.m., he walked through the side entrance, wearing a suit that fit perfectly, hair pulled back, calm expression, every eye in the room turned. He didn't look like a spa worker anymore. He looked like a threat. She stood up. "I didn't think you'd come." "You didn't ask nicely," he said. "You came anyway." He nodded. "Because if this goes badly, 200 jobs disappear." The meeting began. Korean and Chinese investors sat across from Ava. Eli translated flawlessly, smoothed over tension, and caught silent miscommunications before they exploded. At one point, he leaned in and whispered, "Don't mention returns yet. They value long-term trust first." She nodded and followed his lead. When it was over, the investors smiled, shook hands. "We'll move forward," they said. Then one of them looked at Eli and said in Mandarin, "She trusts you. That's rare." Eli responded calmly, "She earned it." Outside on the hotel balcony, Ava stood with her arms folded. "You're not just a translator," she said. "You're trained, educated. Probably Harvard, right?" He didn't answer. "Why are you doing this? Living like this? Hiding?" Eli looked at her, and for the first time, he told her, "I was supposed to take over Martinez Group." She froze. "But then my younger brother, Daniel, was caught in something illegal. Construction bid in Thailand, bribery. He didn't know how to handle it." Ava swallowed hard. "He took his own life. I tried to expose the deal. My father told me to shut up and fall in line." "And you didn't?" "I ran. I left it all behind. Name, money, company, everything." Ava stepped closer. "Why tell me this now?" "Because you asked who I was." "And who are you, Eli?" He looked at her for a long time, then said, "Someone who can't be bought, but who's tired of hiding." "So what happens now?" Ava asked. Eli didn't look at her, just stared out over the Midtown skyline and said, "Now? My father knows I'm alive." It didn't take long. That same week, a story leaked to Business Tribune. "Runaway heir living under alias in upstate spa. Martinez family silent." The headline alone triggered a storm. Paparazzi outside Pine Ridge, rumors of Ava's involvement, shareholders calling emergency meetings, her assistant whispering, "This could kill your next funding round." But Ava didn't flinch, not because she wasn't scared, but because she knew who leaked it. "Logan," she said when the line picked up. Her ex-fiancé didn't even fake surprise. "You're welcome," he said smoothly. "I figured the public deserved to know who you've been slumming with." "Why?" "Because you don't get to walk out of our engagement and trade me for a janitor with a secret name. He's not a janitor. He's a fraud." She hung up before she said something illegal. That evening, she went to Eli's apartment. Small, minimal, no photos, one suitcase by the door. He was packing. "You're leaving," she said flatly. "I have to." "No, you don't." He looked up. "You think I have a choice?" "You do if you stay with me." "That's the problem," he said quietly. "You're Ava Coleman, and I'm a PR disaster waiting to happen." She walked over, grabbed his hand, held it tighter than she meant to. "Let them talk. Ava. Let them post, let them tweet, let them spin. You stayed when I was humiliated. Now it's my turn." He didn't say anything, so she leaned in. "I'm not afraid of your name, Eli. Are you?" 2 days later, she walked into the Stratos Global Summit with him on her arm. Hair back, heels sharp, press foaming at the doors. The VP pulled her aside. "You can't bring him on stage. Shareholders are panicking." I smiled. "Then let them watch." The conference opened with tension. Rumors had hit the screens. The word Martinez had trended again. But when Ava stepped to the podium, she didn't flinch. "Before we begin," she said clearly, "I want to introduce someone." She motioned to Eli. He stepped forward, calm, dignified, in a navy suit. "This is Elijah Martinez." Yes, that Martinez. But more importantly, he's the reason we secured the East Asia deal last week. The room stiffened. She continued. "Some of you may have seen photos, or tweets, or stories spun by people desperate to stay relevant." A few chuckles in the crowd. "But let me be clear. I don't care about legacies. I care about impact. And this man saved mine when no one else would." She turned, met his eyes. "Eli, will you join me in leading the next chapter of Stratos?" The audience froze. Then, applause. Soft at first. Then louder. Then standing. Later that night, they were back at her penthouse. No cameras, no microphones. Just the two of them. Eli leaned against the counter, arms folded. "So that's what public redemption looks like," he said. She walked over, tossed her heels on the floor. "That wasn't for the cameras." "No?" She shook her head. "That was for me." She took his hand, placed it over her heart. "Stay." He didn't answer, so she kissed him. And this time, he didn't pull away. "You were never just a masseur," she whispered. "And you were never just another CEO," Eli replied. They were on her rooftop now. Or their rooftop. It was past midnight. The city buzzed below. But up here, it was quiet. Warm. Safe. The kind of quiet people search their whole lives for. Eli held her hand without saying a word, until finally, he did. "You know I still don't care about the money, right?" She smiled. "I know. And I'm not taking your last name. I'd never ask you to." "Good." A beat. "But I will take your heart." She laughed. "You already did." 2 weeks later, CNN Live broke the headline, "Billionaire CEO marries Masseur in private ceremony. Turns out he's Martinez's heir." And underneath, a viral photo. Ava Coleman in a white jumpsuit, Eli Martinez in a tailored black suit, holding hands at City Hall, smiling like no one else was in the room. No makeup artist, no PR team, no announcement. Just love. But that wasn't the big moment. The real moment came after, when Ava walked into the annual Stratos year-end gala, holding a glass of champagne in one hand and Eli's fingers in the other. Logan was there. So was the entire press table. She walked up to the stage, took the mic, and said, 3 years ago, I got engaged to someone who looked good on paper. The crowd shifted. He was polished, connected, acceptable. She glanced toward Logan, without apology. But I never once felt safe, never once felt seen. And then I met someone who didn't want anything from me. Not my name, not my network, not my empire. She looked at Eli. He turned me down more than once, and not because he didn't want me, but because he knew I needed to want myself first. Silence. Then, I offered him money. He offered me honesty. I offered a night. He offered me a life. Gasps in the crowd. One cameraman whispered, "Is this still about the massage guy?" Then Ava turned to Eli. In front of everyone who thought we wouldn't last, she reached into her jacket, pulled out a folded piece of paper, unfolded it slowly. The room leaned in. It was the original note. Dinner, 8 p.m., corner of 7th and Maple, private booth reserved, just say your name. Ava. She smiled. You never came. He walked up to the mic, took her hand, and I regret that every day. He pulled out his own note. Marry me. The crowd lost it. Not in a celebrity way, not in a PR way, in a human way. The kind of love that made even the most cynical reporter put their phone down and just feel it. Ava didn't cry at the wedding. She cried the next morning, when she woke up beside the man she tried to buy and realized she could never afford to lose him. What would you have done if someone offered you money and your pride was on the line? Would you walk away or walk towards something no one else could see? Tell us in the comments, and don't just rate the story. Tell us the part that stayed with you. Was it the rejection? The rooftop? The moment he said, "I'm not taking your name"? Or the one line that made you believe in love again? We read everything. And somewhere out there, someone's still waiting at the corner of 7th and Maple. See you in the next story.